The fear underneath everything they taught you about anger management, like breath work, count to 10, walk it off, all of that is quietly making your anger worse. And let me show you why. So you've probably tried all of that. You've counted to 10, but you still snapped. You took a deep breath and felt your chest go hot. You walked it off and it was waiting for you when you got back. But somewhere along the way, you decided that the problem must be you, that you just don't have enough self-control. Well, the truth is, you're not failing at anger management. You were handed the wrong tool for the actual problem. And once you see what the real problem is, all of this will finally start to make sense. I had to go through the same process myself. So I want to share with you why those techniques backfire. So picture your anger like a teapot on a stove. Every unspoken hurt, every swallowed need, every old wound that nobody ever helped you feel, it all gets poured into that pot. And the heat stays on underneath. It's just sitting there on your emotional stove. It's breathing, counting, walking it off. Those are all just ways of jamming a cork into the spout of that boiling teapot. The steam doesn't disappear. The pressure has to go somewhere, so it pushes back and it pushes down into you, into your body. You didn't calm the anger down. You just hid it from yourself for a little while. And that's not a small thing, because the rage you keep stuffing down doesn't stay quiet. Dr. Vincent Felitti's research on childhood adversity found that suppressed rage and pain show up years later as migraines, autoimmune conditions, chronic pain, addictions, and even weight that won't come off, no matter how many clients or how many diets you try. So the calm, stoic, controlled person who never raises their voice is not actually healthier than the one who explodes. They're just mailing the bill to their body instead of their relationships. So bottling it up and blowing it up are not opposites. They are the same pendulum. And anger management only teaches you to swing it more quietly. So if managing it is not the answer, then what is? Well, it starts with seeing what anger actually is, because anger is almost never the real thing that's happening. Anger is a symptom. That's because anger is a cover emotion. It's a bodyguard standing in front of a feeling that is far deeper and much more vulnerable. See, underneath the anger is fear. That's the first thing it covers. And fear covers deep sadness. Usually a sadness that is very old. And that's what the worst day cycle that I wrote about in my first book, Your Journey to Success, is all about. That's what's running underneath this. Now, the worst day cycle consists of 4 things: trauma, fear, shame, and denial. And that original trauma, that's where the sadness lies. So the reason no breathing technique ever reaches it is that you're managing the bodyguard out in front, while the scared kid is hiding behind that bodyguard, and never once has he been heard, or she. So the fear under your anger is almost always one of 3 things. It's either the fear of rejection, which is the feeling that you're about to be left or unwanted, or the fear of inadequacy, which is the feeling that you don't have the knowledge, skills, or tools to do something. It's not that you're actually inadequate, it's that you haven't learned something, and your fear is that you're about to be found out. Or it's the fear of powerlessness, which is the feeling that you can't say no, that you have no control, you have no say, just like the way you didn't have any of those as a kid. So I want you to think of rejection, inadequacy, and powerlessness as R.I.P. The rest in peace model is what I call when you deal with this. You're going to turn rejection, inadequacy, and powerlessness into rest in peace. So when your partner uses that tone that triggers one of those, or the dish is left in the sink one more time, or your kid tunes you out, that little thing that just happened, it brushed up against one of those 3. And this is exactly what is happening to you when you can't control your anger. Now here's what I want you to do the next time the rage overcomes you. I want you to picture yourself as a very young child, huddled in the corner, and the child inside you is screaming, please, please don't see how inadequate and scared and small and powerless I feel right now, and by God, don't you dare reject me. That's exactly what's happening to you every time you explode and can't control your anger. That scared, very sad child who wasn't heard, who didn't matter, is the one screaming, wanting to be heard by you. Now, because you're stuck in the worst day cycle and haven't healed the childhood wounds of rejection, inadequacy, and powerlessness, that scream comes out of your mouth as rage. That's also why it erupts over just the smallest things, because your emotional thermostat is already set through the roof. And that's why it feels like to you, it just comes out of nowhere. Well, the dish didn't fill up the teapot. It was already full from a lifetime of water that you've never been able to let out. And so the dish was just the last drop. Now your emotional thermostat has been sitting at 110, 112 degrees ever since you were a child, but you don't feel it. It's because it's become normal to you. So your teapot has been sitting on that emotional stove, boiling over before they ever walked into the room. So if you feel that tightness right now, that urge to click off this video and go be productive, that would be you trying to escape that. So I want to encourage you, don't clamp down on this anger. Instead, let it out, but on purpose. And you let it grow up into what it was always meant to be, the use of your voice. Now, the first step in this happens in the moment. So the next time that heat rises, instead of firing it out or swallowing it down, just pause and ask, what am I really afraid of right now? Is it rejection? Is it inadequacy? Is it powerlessness? Then ask the harder question. What's the sadness that underlies the rejection, the inadequacy, or the powerlessness? What's underneath that fear? When was the first time I felt these feelings? How old was I? And what happened in that moment? Now those simple steps are at the heart of my emotional authenticity method, where I take you to the root of the feeling, the original emotional blueprint, instead of managing the surface with breath techniques and walking it off and all of the other things. And when you do that work, it changes the entire moment, because your rage was only ever a request from that child inside that's stuck in the corner, and it's begging you to be seen. So the moment you say that scared thing out loud, the true sadness underneath, instead of throwing the angry thing, the person across from you stops meeting a weapon and they start meeting the real you. Now, the second solution is to address all the rage already stored in your body from years before this. And this one has to be physical, because anger lives in our body, so it's a somatic releasing, and it can only leave through your body. And in this one, I want you to write a rage letter. One you're never going to send, and I want you to address it to whoever first taught you that your anger wasn't allowed. And I don't want you to narrate the events and tell the facts of the story. I want you to go straight to the feelings of those moments. The moments you felt humiliated, ignored, powerless, rejected, inadequate, whatever it was. And give yourself permission, the exact permission you never got as a child, to be ugly on the page. Like, be judgmental. Use as many ugly swear words as possible. Say all of it. Don't hold back any of it. You finally get to let it all out. When you have that rage letter, go for a nice drive to a quiet, serene spot that you love. Scream in your car. Or maybe go to your bedroom. Hit the mattress with a tennis racket, or go to a heavy bed. Whatever you choose, the goal for you is you're finally finishing the defense you never got to make or use when you were the scared child in the corner. And it wasn't safe for you to say no, because anger, at least at its root, is you using the voice you had to muzzle as a child. So you're giving yourself permission to finally say, no, you can't do this to me. Not ever again. I'm done with it. I will not allow you to do this to me anymore. Now, the third solution is what keeps the teapot off the stove for good. I keep pointing there because that's where my stove is. So, sorry. You're like, why is he pointing over there? But what I want you to do in this is every single day, just let a little out by focusing on the R.I.P method, rejection, inadequacy, and powerlessness, and learn how to rest in peace. And you do this by asking yourself, where am I rejecting myself and placing my value in the other person's hands? Remember, nobody ever rejects us. It's not possible. It's just pizza toppings. Think of it. We all like different pizza toppings. And if they like a veggie and you like a meat lovers, it doesn't mean they rejected you. They just want something different. So if somebody breaks up with you or cheats on you or whatever, they just decided they want different pizza toppings. It has nothing to do with you. And so when you make it about yourself, you're placing your value in their hands. You're saying, I'm worth nothing unless you validate me. So that's self-rejection. You're doing it to yourself. And so look in your life, where are you placing your value in other people's hands instead of in your own? Now, look at the inadequacy part and ask yourself, what areas do I need to attain the knowledge, the skills, and the tools to learn about whatever it is that you're feeling inadequate to accomplish? And then you want to look at how are you making yourself powerless by saying yes when what you mean to say is no. Basically, how am I not meeting my needs and wants? Also, where are you not meeting your own morals and values? Where are you avoiding asking for love and help and support? Or what boundaries do you need to set within yourself or maybe with others so you don't give your power away? Write all of those down. Because by being proactive, you can drain a little bit of the water daily so the teapot never gets the chance to fill. And you can learn to stop letting everyone else pour their emotional stress into you like you're the family teapot drain. That small daily release is what breathing exercises kept promising you but could never deliver on, because they were trying to hold the steam in the teapot instead of letting the water out of it. Now, when you do all of this, your anger doesn't disappear. It actually matures. It stops being a weapon you throw or a poison that you just swallow. And instead, it becomes a clean, adult, healthy, grounded boundary. And that looks something like, instead of rage, you can just finally say, hey, this just doesn't work for me. And you can say it with your whole body without any of the old stuff showing up and nobody else getting destroyed in the process. So I think you can now see that you were never really an angry person. You were just a kid who had so much to feel and no one to feel safe with. And all of that has been waiting a very long time for you to finally let it out. Now, before I go, I just want to say you're not to blame and you're not broken. You did the best you could with the information you had at the time, but now that you know more, you know about the worst day cycle, you know about R.I.P, and you can choose to equip yourself with the tools to do more. You can learn about the authentic self cycle. You can learn about my emotional authenticity method. You can look through my playlists and develop more skills and tools so that you can do more. So just remember, you were just emotionally programmed, but programs, those emotional programs, can be rewritten. So I hope this helped you, and I'll see you in the next video.